What is buffer base? Nothing. The buffer system in the body, I already told there is a two types of buffer system in the body. One is that carbonic buffer system, second is the non-carbonic buffer system. The carbonic buffer system is our bicarbonate. Okay. The non-carbonic buffer system is our plasma protein, hemoglobin and the phosphate. So, the total concentration of all this buffer is called the buffer base. Okay. The bicarbonate level, example you see here, this is my buffer base. So, bicarbonate level plus A minus, which is the other non-carbonate buffer system, our plasma protein, hemoglobin and the phosphate. So, the A minus and the bicarbonate, it is called the buffer base. So, if example, if I add some acid to the patient's body, okay, for example, I added 10 moles of acid, okay, all these ads are neutralized by one by the bicarbonate or it may be A minus, that is a non-carbonic buffer system. So, the total buffer base will decrease, 10 mole of acid is added, so 10 mole of my total buffer will decrease. It may be a bicarbonate, it may be this acid, okay. So, based on the quantifying the buffer base will give idea about my how much acid is added to the patient's body, okay. So, the buffer base is a sum of weak acids of all anions in the buffer anions in the plasma. It's normally it's a 45 to 50 milliequivalent per liter. It is nearly all these buffer capacities, mostly it's contributed by the hemoglobin and the bicarbonate. So, the normal you can calculate the buffer base by this formula, it's 41 plus 7 plus 0.02 into my hemoglobin level. So, it is the latter this the same the buffer base concept is reintroduced by the as a strong ion difference by the Stewart. We will discuss this separately in the Stewart approach of acid base disorder. So, there is a formula that to calculate the buffer base, that is we already discussed, is the normal buffer base equal to 41 plus 7 into 0.42 into our hemoglobin level. We can calculate the buffer base. We already discussed buffer base is the weak acids of anions in the buffer anions in the blood, including the hemoglobin, plasma proteins, phosphates and the bicarbonate. Hemoglobin, plasma proteins and phosphates are called as a non-carbonic acid buffer system. Bicarbonate is a carbonic acid buffer system. The combination of both carbonate and bicarbonate buffer system, bicarbonate and non-carbonic acid, that is a non-bicarbonate buffer system, or both the concentration of all these two is called as a buffer base. Okay.